After the West imposed sanctions on the Myanmar military government in 1988, China became Myanmar's most significant economic partner through substantial trade, investments, financial assistance, and aids. On the one hand, trade with China was vital for Myanmar's economy. On the other hand, as a resource-rich country, Myanmar has been a popular destination for Chinese investments, particularly in large-scale investments such as mining, hydropower, oil, and natural gas. These large-scale infrastructure projects, for instance, the Lepodon copper mining, Misong Dam, Sino-Myanmar gas and oil pipelines, are generally state-to-state backed deals carried out by Chinese state-owned enterprises. In these state-backed investments, Chinese business actors have tended to work closely with local actors that are well connected to the unpopular military government, and they usually pursue elite-oriented strategies that could yield very considerable resistance and pushbacks by the local societal actors. The democratic opening strengthened the power of Myanmar societal actors, which pressurized the Chinese actors to adjust their existing strategies and behaviors. After Aung San Suu Kyi and the National League for Democracy gained influence and power in 2016, Chinese actors were forced by both local institutions and local societal demands to retool their investment strategies. For instance, in my paper on Lepodon copper mine, the Chinese company Wanbao initially worked within the framework of local institutions and business partners that triggered nationwide protests and international condemnation for human rights violations, which eventually led to the suspension of the project in 2012. To resume the project, Wanbao adopted new standards and practices through community engagement. For instance, the Chinese company established an investigation executive committee and a community social development team to make sure the Chinese company received the accurate and timely feedback from the villagers affected. Wanbao carried out the door-to-door visit, commissioned the international consultancy company Nantpiso to perform the environmental and social impact assessment report. More importantly, Wanbao improved its corporate social responsibility strategies by providing $1 billion fund on a yearly basis, using 2% of annual profits for community development projects, and creating a series of localized supply chains to diversify the sources of income for the villagers affected. Wanbao also strengthened its public relations efforts through social media platform, for example, creating a Facebook webpage. Wanbao also proactively courted influential local media such as Irrawaddy and Mitzima News, and even international media outlets like The Economist. Chinese actors are making progress at the local level by showing their adaptability not just in terms of a Lepodon copper mine case, but also on other shared development projects in Myanmar, for example, the Sino-Myanmar oil and gas pipeline projects. Nonetheless, as my paper shows, Chinese actors' approach to local community engagement is still subject to the local context, and specifically to what extent local institutions have the capacity and will to support local societal demands. So in other words, the staying power of local community strategies is open to question, particularly amid the political upheaval that Myanmar has weathered since the 2021 coup. Although I'm not against the idea of local engagement in principle, with the military regime back in full control, Chinese actors may not have much incentive to maintain a strong commitment with local community engagement, particularly because of Myanmar's ongoing political uncertainty. The non-interference of Beijing's foreign policy restored long-standing anti-Chinese sentiment that has already posed great threats to Chinese investments. Therefore, There's much less the Chinese business actors can do at this background. Instead, they're counting on Beijing's influences on the generals to secure and protect their business interests. But for Beijing, learning the lessons of Myanmar's democratic opening, it was thought to be quietly pressing the generals to release Aung San Suu Kyi, the democracy activist, and ask the rival National Unity Government to restrain their supporters from attacking Chinese investments. It would be wise for Beijing to hedge its bets on both sides.